The drama surrounding tonight you're about to witness one of the most brutal moments in boxing. The arena was alive with anticipation, a charged atmosphere buzzing through every corner of the Turning Stone Resort and Casino. This wasn't just another title defense. This was a test of identity, of pressure, of what it truly meant to be a champion when everything doesn't go according to plan. And standing at the center of it all was a man known not for finesse, but for force. Joe Smith Jr., the beast from the East, a fighter whose reputation had been built on raw power, relentless pressure, and a refusal to back down. Across from him stood Steve Geffrard, a late replacement, stepping into the biggest opportunity of his life with little time to prepare, but everything to prove. For him, this wasn't just a fight. This was destiny knocking without warning. From the opening bell, the contrast in styles was immediate and impossible to ignore. Joe Smith Jr. came forward like a storm rolling in off the ocean, heavy hands loaded, eyes locked, intent clear. There was no mystery to his approach. He had promised aggression, and within seconds, he delivered exactly that. Punches flew in, waves, some thudding into gloves, others sneaking around defenses, each one carrying the kind of weight that drains not just the body, but the will. Geffrard, to his credit, didn't panic. He raised a tight high guard, absorbing the early assault, looking for openings, trying to read the rhythm of a man who didn't believe in slowing down. It was a risky strategy, almost like standing in front of a moving train and hoping to redirect it at the last second. And yet, there were flashes. Moments where Geffrard's sharp counters, especially that quick, sneaky left hook, reminded everyone that he wasn't there just to survive. But survival against someone like Joe Smith Jr. is never simple. The commentary echoed a growing concern. That high guard, while protective, was turning Geffrard into a stationary target. Each punch he blocked still carried force. Each impact chipped away at his stamina. Smith didn't need every shot to land clean. He just needed to keep throwing, to keep pressing, to keep breaking down the resistance in front of him. And that's exactly what he did. Round by round, the tempo stayed relentless. Smith mixed his attack, going from head to body, targeting elbows, shoulders, anything that would weaken the guard and force it to drop. The strategy was clear. Break the shell, expose the target, finish the job. And occasionally, Geffrard fired back with combinations that hinted at something more. A jab here, a counter there, even moments where he pushed the champion toward the ropes, showing glimpses of control. But glimpses aren't enough at this level, because for every success Geffrard found, Smith answered with something heavier, something more punishing, a crushing right hand, a digging hook to the body. Shots that didn't just score points, they sent messages. And then there was the psychological battle. Joe Smith Jr., known for his straightforward, almost predictable aggression, began to show something different. Small adjustments, a willingness to box, movement, timing. It was subtle, but it was there. And in those moments, it created confusion. Was he evolving, or simply playing with his food? Either way, it worked. Geffrard's corner urged him to use the jab to create distance, to stay disciplined. They believed the key to victory lay in outboxing the champion, exploiting his tendency to come forward without moving his head, and for brief stretches, it looked possible. The jab landed, the counters connected. The crowd watched closely, sensing a shift that might never fully arrive, because Joe Smith Jr. doesn't fade. He builds. As the fight moved into the middle rounds, the pace began to tell its story. Smith's punch output remained high, his energy seemingly endless. Geffrard, on the other hand, started to show the effects, not just physically, but mentally. The guard stayed high, but the reaction slowed. The counters became less frequent, the movement less sharp, and then came the numbers. At one point, nearly 70% of Smith's power punches in a single round found their mark. That's not just dominance, that's destruction in progress. Against a fighter known for knockout power, those statistics become more than numbers. They become warnings. Still, Geffrard refused to fold completely. There were moments of resistance, flashes of determination, brief surges where he reminded everyone why he belonged in that ring. But behind the scenes, something was going wrong. His left shoulder, injured, compromised, became a silent factor, limiting his ability to respond, to defend, to fight back effectively. His corner knew it. He knew it. And Joe Smith Jr.? He sensed it. The champion began to turn the pressure up another level. The punches came faster, harder, more precise. Body shots dug deeper. Hooks wrapped around the guard. Uppercuts split through the middle. It was no longer about winning rounds. It was about ending the fight. By the 7th round, the difference was undeniable. Geffrard was backing up more, spending longer stretches on the ropes, absorbing punishment without offering much in return. The crowd could feel it. The commentators could see it. And Smith, he was closing in. Every great pressure fighter has that moment, the switch where persistence turns into inevitability. And this was it. The 8th round blurred into a continuation of control. Smith's confidence grew with every landed shot. Even when warned for low blows or minor infractions, it didn't disrupt his rhythm. He was locked in, focused, relentless. Geffrard, meanwhile, looked like a man fighting not just his opponent, but his own limitations. And then came the 9th. It didn't start dramatically. There was no sudden explosion, no instant collapse. Just the same steady pressure, the same calculated aggression. But this time, there was something different in Geffrard's posture. A hesitation. A stillness. The kind that signals the end is near. Smith saw it, and he attacked. Punches rained down with urgency now. Not reckless, but decisive. Each one placed with intent, each one pushing Geffrard closer to the edge. Trapped in the corner, with nowhere left to go, the challenger absorbed shot after shot, his defense no longer enough to keep him safe. And then, the moment. A final sequence. A barrage that broke through completely. Geffrard went down. The referee stepped in. The count began. But even before it could reach its conclusion, the decision had already been made. The corner intervened. They had seen enough. They knew what was coming next if the fight continued. It was over. A technical knockout in the 9th round. Joe Smith Jr. stood tall, still the WBO light heavyweight champion of the world. His power, pressure, and persistence once again proving too much for his opponent. It wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. A reminder that in a division filled with talent, he remains one of the most dangerous men in the ring. And for Steve Geffrard, it was a night of courage, opportunity, and harsh reality. He stepped in on short notice, faced a champion at full force. And while he showed heart, it wasn't enough to overcome the storm. Because sometimes, in boxing, heart alone can't stop what's coming. And Joe Smith Jr., he doesn't stop coming. Now the question shifts to you. After watching a performance like this, where do you rank Joe Smith Jr. among the top fighters in the light heavyweight division? Can anyone withstand that kind of pressure for 12 rounds? And if a unification fight comes next, who do you think has the style to beat him?